What's the biggest drama going on in your life right now? My parents have been stealing my identity since I was 16, and now I'm basically screwed for life. Growing up, my parents, Jake and Linda, were always preaching about honesty and family values. Every Sunday after church, Dad would lecture us about being good people. He'd say stuff like, family sticks together no matter what, and we don't air our dirty laundry. My little sister Katie and I bought into it completely. When I turned 22, I finally decided to get my first credit card. I had a decent job at a warehouse and wanted to build some credit, but when I applied, they rejected me instantly. The guy at the bank looked confused and said my credit score was already destroyed. I thought it was a mistake. Turns out my social security number had been used for years. There were car loans, store credit cards, even a small business loan for some landscaping company I'd never heard of. The total debt was around $30,000, all in my name, all signed with my signature. I drove home shaking. When I confronted my parents, they didn't even try to deny it. Dad just sat there eating his cereal and said, "Family sacrifices for family. You'll pay it off when you're older," like it was no big deal. Mom started crying and begging me not to destroy their good name by reporting it. She kept saying I was being selfish and that they only used the money for important stuff. Katie's braces, her school trips, the new roof we needed last year. I was furious. I told them I was calling the police. Dad laughed and said good luck proving anything. He showed me the paperwork and somehow my signature was on everything. I swear I never signed any of it, but the handwriting looked exactly like mine. Close enough that even I started doubting myself. But I filed a police report anyway. The detective was this older guy who seemed bored with the whole thing. He said these family cases were messy and hard to prove. The investigation basically went nowhere because technically my signature was on the documents. That's when everything fell apart. Katie completely turned on me. She screamed that I was trying to send our parents to jail over money. She said the debt paid for her medical stuff and I was being a monster. Even my grandmother called me selfish. The debt collectors started calling me non-stop. They didn't care that I never saw the money. They wanted their payments. I had to get a second job just to keep up with the minimum payments on credit cards I never even knew existed. My friends started avoiding me because collectors would call them looking for me. My girlfriend broke up with me because the stress was making me angry all the time. I couldn't even get approved for an apartment because my credit was so bad. The worst part was my parents kept spending. Even after I found out, they opened new accounts. When I confronted them again, Dad said they were already in too deep and might as well keep going. He actually suggested I help them by opening more credit cards in my name. Last month I found out they took out a second mortgage on their house using my information as a cosigner. The bank called me about missed payments. That was the final straw. I hired a lawyer with money I borrowed from my uncle. But here's the crazy part. When we went through all the paperwork with a handwriting expert, we discovered my parents had been practicing my signature for years. They had notebooks full of practice sheets hidden in their bedroom. They'd been planning this since I was a teenager. The expert confirmed the signatures were forged, but it was too late for most of the debt. The statute of limitations had run out on the older stuff. I could only dispute about half of it. My parents' response? They told everyone I was lying and trying to frame them. Katie posted on social media about what a terrible son I was. Half my extended family believes them over me. I'm 24 now and still paying off debt I never created. My credit is slowly getting better, but it'll take years to fix completely. I had to move back in with my uncle because I couldn't afford my own place. The lawyers say I might be able to get some money back eventually, but it could take years and cost more in legal fees. Meanwhile, my parents are still living in their nice house, driving nice cars, all paid for with money stolen from their own son. Katie graduates high school next year and wants to go to college. I'm terrified they're going to do the same thing to her, but when I tried to warn her, she told me to go screw myself and blocked my number.